Hello everyone. So in this lecture, we'll see next access control method, that is token ring. So that is the access control method, isn't it? So we can say that how to access any medium, isn't it? That comes under token. We can say that access control method. And we have discussed various access control methods in the previous lectures. So we'll see the next one, that is token ring, isn't it? So guys, before that, some basics are required, isn't it? So I'm going to discuss these basics first, isn't it? You know what is the meaning of delay? Everybody know delay means, we can say that some time, isn't it? We can say that delay. But you know, sometime delays will be given to you, let's say in seconds, or we can say that milliseconds or microseconds, isn't it? Or nanoseconds, isn't it? Sometimes you will see a delays will be given to you in the form of bits, and sometimes the delays will be given to you in the form of meters, isn't it? So various conversions are required. We can say that, let's say delay is given to you in the seconds and we need to convert into bits. Sometimes we can say that it is given in the bits and we need to convert it into the seconds, isn't it? Sometimes it is given in the seconds, we need to convert it into meters, and sometimes it is given into meters and we need to convert it into seconds, and so on, isn't it? So what does that means, we can say, isn't it? So let us consider one example. With that example, I'm going to discuss these things. These are the basics will be required in the token ring, isn't it? Or various questions based on the token ring, isn't it? Let us consider first question, guys. Let's say one question is given to you. Let's say bandwidth is given to you. Bandwidth of the channel is given to you, that is 100 Mbps, isn't it? Let's say this is given, that is 100 Mbps. And my question is calculate 1 bit delay, isn't it? So we can say that, what does that mean? Let's say, yes. So we can say that bandwidth is given to you 100 Mbps. So from this we can conclude that what? Yes, that is 10 raised to power 8 bits per second, isn't it? So we can say that 10 raised to power 8 bits can be transmitted in 1 second. Yes or no? Isn't it? Yes. Now, 1 bit will be transmitted in how much time? So we can say that 1 upon 10 raised to power 8 seconds, isn't it? So that is equals to 10 raised to power minus 8 seconds, and that can be written like that, 10 nanoseconds, isn't it? 10 nanoseconds. Is that clear to everyone or not? Okay. So write down next question. Let's say next one is given to you, question number 2. Bandwidth is given to you, that is, let's say 100 Mbps, and here velocity in the medium, that is 2 into 10 raised to power 8 meter per second. And question is calculate 1 bit delay in meters of cable, isn't it? That is the next question. So you only tell me what will be the bandwidth. That is 100 Mbps. That can be written like that, 10 raised to power 8 bits per second. So from this we can conclude that 10 raised to power 8 bits can be transmitted in 1 second. So 1 bit can be transmitted in 1 upon 10 raised to power 8 seconds. That can be written like that, 10 raised to power minus 8 seconds. And this can be written like this or not. So we can say that that is 10 nanoseconds, isn't it? Now one more parameter is given to you, that is velocity. Velocity is given to you, that is 2 into 10 raised to power 8 meter per second. So we can say that, yes, in 1 second, Yes, we can say that data can travel for 2 into 10 raised to power 8 meters, isn't it? Now you only tell me. That is, we can say that in 1 second, yes, data can traverse up to 2 into 10 raised to power 8 meters, isn't it? So 1 bit delay means what? 1 bit delay, that is equivalent to 10 nanosecond. So our task is in 10 nanosecond, yes, data can traverse for how much meters, isn't it? So in 1 bit delay, that is 10 nanosecond, data can traverse up to 2 into 10 raised to power 8 into 10 nano, isn't it? Yes or no? Isn't it? Can we say or not? Meters. So we can see, yes, this one will be 2 into 10 raised to power 8 into 10 into 10 raised to power minus 9 meters, isn't it? So after calculation, we can see this one will be what? That will be 2 meters, isn't it? So answer of this question will be 2 meters, isn't it? So these conversions you need to do sometimes, isn't it? So we can say that ultimately, yes, if we try to convert, let's say, that is, let's say our time is given in the seconds, if we need to convert it into bits, isn't it? Or we need to convert sometimes it into meters, isn't it? Okay. Now you only tell me, yes, if seconds is divided with, we can say that bandwidth. So bandwidth unit is what? We can say that, let's say, bits per second, isn't it? Sometimes it is bits per second, isn't it? Now you only tell me, yes, if we multiply these seconds with the bandwidth, isn't it? So if second is multiplied with bandwidth, so we can say that seconds into bits per second. So second will be cancel out. So answer will be in the bits. That means whenever in the seconds is given, delay is given in the seconds, and we need to convert it into bits, then we can multiply with the bandwidth, isn't it? Okay, multiply with bandwidth. And if it is given in the bits and we need answer into the seconds, then divide by the bandwidth. So if bits are divided with the bandwidth, so bandwidth unit is what? Bits per second, like that. So we can say that answer will be in the second, isn't it? Similarly, you only tell me, let's say sometimes it is given into the seconds and we need to convert it into the meters, isn't it? So whenever we can say that we need to convert it into the meters, isn't it? So first we can say that a unit of velocity are meter per second and so on. And let's say unit for distance will be the meters, isn't it? So we can say that if we divide distance with the velocity, so answer will be in the seconds, isn't it? So you can use these parameters, we can say that, isn't it? So velocity will be given to you, isn't it? So whenever we divide distance with the velocity, then the answer will be in the seconds. So overall, we can say that you must be comfortable in these conversions. If you are comfortable, then there won't be any problem, isn't it? So sometimes you will see in token passing, yes, these conversions are required, isn't it? These conversions are required. So be comfortable with these type of conversion. Nothing else. Simple things is there, isn't it? Okay. So yes, our topic was token passing. That is the next access control method, token passing, isn't it? So I'm going to discuss token ring because it uses a ring topology. Token bus is also there, but that is not in the gate syllabus. In the gate syllabus, only token ring is there. Token ring means it uses ring topology, and token bus means that uses bus topology. That is not in the syllabus, isn't it? So we can say that, let's say, what is token ring? Let's say this is the ring, this is station 1, and this is station 2, then station 3, and station 4. These are connected in the ring like structure. That's why we can say that that is known as token ring. Means internally it uses what? Ring topology, isn't it? Okay. So let's say one token frame, let's say this is the token frame, isn't it? This token frame will be circulating in this ring, isn't it? Yes, listen me correctly, guys. That is important. What I'm saying. This token frame will circulate in the ring, and any station who wants to transmit the data first will hold the token, and after holding the token, that particular station will transmit its data packet. Isn't it? That is the concept. And that means we can say that let's say this is station 1, station 2, station 3, and station 4. Let's say station 1 wants to transmit the data. So first it will acquire the token, or we can say that hold the token. After that it will transmit the yes data packet. Also one more thing is there here, this ring is unidirectional, isn't it? So we can say that whenever data will flow in this particular ring, then always that flow in one direction only. That means during the topology, that is decided that whether this ring is clockwise or anti-clockwise, isn't it? If it is clockwise, that means always the data, or we can say that data packet will circulate in that manner only, isn't it? Okay. So we can say that here, what is the ring latency, isn't it? First term is ring latency. What does it means? We can say that let's say here some data unit is there. So the time required, we can say that yes, we can say that the time required to circulate this data unit once, isn't it? That is known as ring latency. That means entire data will circulate once, isn't it? That means let's say one bit is there. So after circulating once, that particular bit will be at its own previous place, isn't it? That is the meaning of yes, one circulation, isn't it? So what is the ring latency? So we can say that yes, this we can say that this data packet will move from here to here, then from 1 to 2, then 2 to 3, then 3 to 4, then 4 to its original place. So we can say that the ring latency will include, we can say that the entire distance of this ring, let's say distance of this ring is d, and divided by the velocity in the medium. Ring is medium or channel. Plus we can say that yes, whenever this data packet will come to the station 1, then station 1 will take it and will put on the link in the another side, isn't it? Again, whenever this data packet will come to the station 2, station 2 will keep this data and will forward to the forwarding link, isn't it? So we can say that every station will include some delay to process this data, isn't it? So we can say that here total n number of stations are there, and n number of stations having a delay of b bits, isn't it? Let's say delay is given in the bits, isn't it? So one station has a b bit delay, so total n stations are there, so total delay will be n into b. I'm assuming that every station is having a delay of b bits, isn't it? That is the assumption. So n into b will be the entire delay of the yes this system, isn't it? Okay. From here you can see yes, this entity is in the seconds, and this entity is in the, we can say that bits, isn't it? So units are different, so we can note it. So make both of these things into the bits or into the seconds. So if we try to convert it into the seconds, so we can say that that is distance upon velocity plus n into b divided by bandwidth. Now you can see this entity becomes in the seconds, because n into b unit for this one will be the bits, and bandwidth having the units bits per second. So you can see bits will be cancelled out, so ultimately the unit will be seconds only. Now this entire entity is in the seconds. isn't it? Okay. Now you only tell me if we need to convert it into bits. So this one is in the bits, no problem at all. So distance by velocity, that will be in the seconds. So if it is in the seconds, so multiply it with bandwidth, then we can say that the unit of this thing will be in the bits plus n into b, that is already in the bits. So we can say that now this entity becomes entirely in the bits, isn't it? So if answer is given in the bits, then you can, yes, do these type of we can say that things to convert the units, nothing else, isn't it? I hope this one is clear to everyone. So that is the ring latency. Ring latency includes, we can say that d by v is what? Propagation delay. D by v is what? Propagation delay. So and length of entire we can say that this ring will be given to you, and that is divided with the velocity. So we can say that we can find out the, we can say that propagation delay plus there will be some delay at every station, that will be also given to you, isn't it? So that is the first. Okay, so moving to the next one, what will be the cycle time here? Okay, so I'm going to consider next one, that is cycle time, isn't it? What will be the cycle time? Let's say this ring is given to you, and let's say token frame is circulating. Let's say presently token frame is there, isn't it? Okay, now here one term will be there, that is token holding time, isn't it? In short, we will write it TST, that is token holding time. What is that time? We can say that any station who wants to transmit the data first will hold the token, and after that he will transmit the data, isn't it? So for how much time the station is going to hold that particular token, that is known as token holding time. So I'm going to calculate what will be the cycle time, isn't it? Now you only tell me. Here we can say that what will be the cycle time. So cycle time means the time required to circulate the token in the entire ring once. That means it will circulate, that will be held by the station 1, then station 2, and station 2 will transmit the data. After that we can say that 3, after that 4, and token will reach at its previous location, isn't it? So that is the complete cycle. So this cycle will include distance by v, that is propagation time, the length of the ring divided by the velocity, that will be the propagation time of ring, isn't it? Plus, we can say that every station will hold the token and transmit the data. Again, second station will hold the token and transmit the data, and so on. So n stations are there, and we can say that each station is taking some time, that is token holding time. So n into TST, that will be the cycle time. I hope this one is clear to everyone. So this is what? Propagation delay PT plus n into token holding time, isn't it? So now we need to calculate what will be the efficiency. Efficiency, you know what is efficiency? Useful time divided by, yes, cycle time, isn't it? So here useful time is what? So we can say that here useful time is what? We can say that n stations are there, isn't it? And we can, here one more assumption is there. Every station will hold the token and will transmit only one data unit, isn't it? That is the assumption. After that, yes, token will be released. Now token will reach to the second station. Second station will hold the token and will transmit only one data packet, isn't it? Then token will be released. After that, we can say that this token will be reaching to the station 3. Station 3 will hold this particular token and will transmit its data unit, one data unit. That is the assumption, that one data unit is transmitted. That will be given in the question, no problem at all. Mostly in the questions that is given that, yes, after holding the token, the station will transmit only one data unit. That is the assumption, isn't it? So here we can say that n stations are there and every station will transmit one data unit. So n into we can say that n data packets will be in this complete cycle, n data units will be transmitted and every data unit will be having, let's say, tt time, isn't it? So we are assuming that yes, the transmission time for every data unit irrespective of any station is assumed to be TT only, isn't it? Okay. That means we are taking one more assumption that the size of data packets at every station is equal, isn't it? So that will be the useful time and divided by complete cycle time, that is PT plus N into EST, isn't it? So we can say that yes, that will be the efficiency. I hope this one is clear to everyone. No problem at all. Okay. Now we can say that token holding time depends on two factors, isn't it? Or two strategies are there for token holding. So I'm going to discuss these one also. Token holding time or strategies. First one is that is delayed token reinsertion. And second one is that is early token reinsertion, isn't it? So these two strategies are implemented. First one is delayed token and second one is early token, isn't it? So I'm going to discuss one by one. So let us consider first one, that is delayed token. Delayed token reinsertion, isn't it? Okay. So let's say these are the stations. I'm considering only 4 stations, so that will be given to you. How many stations are there? Isn't it? So, what is the meaning of delayed token reinsertion? So, let's say these are the stations: station 1, station 2, station 3, station 4. So, let's say station 1 holds the token and it will transmit its data unit, isn't it? Let's say this is the data packet or data frame, whatever it is, isn't it? Okay, so we can say that, yeah, so the station 1 will hold the token, isn't it? And it will hold the token until we can say that this data packet will reach to its initial position, isn't it? Why it is so? We can say that we are assuming that these are the broadcast channel. That means if one data packet is transmitted by any station, then this packet must reach to every other station in this particular system, isn't it? So once it is reached to every other stations and come back to its initial position, then we can say that yes, one complete circle is, or a complete we can say that circulation is done, isn't it? So whenever packet will completely cover this ring and reach to the initial position or at initial station, or the we can say that sender station, then only that particular station one release that particular token, isn't it? After a complete circle, we can say that the token will be released by the station one. That means station one will hold this particular token until this particular data packet reached to the station one only after completing this one circle or one round, isn't it? Okay. So we can say that this strategy is what, a delayed token, isn't it? So we can say that in this case, what will be the token holding time, isn't it? Token holding time, isn't it? Now you can see after one complete circulation, token will be released. Now this token will reach to the station 2. Now station 2 will hold this token and will transmit its data. And when its data will complete one round, then only station 2 will release the token After that we can say that this token will reach to the station 3, then station 3 will hold this token and will transmit its data unit, and its data unit will complete one round, then only station 3 will release the token, and this strategy will continue, isn't it? So token holding time will be what we can say that. Okay, so token holding time in this strategy we can say that transmission time, we can say that transmission time it will hold, we can say that the token when data packet will be transmitted, isn't it? That will take TT time, isn't it? Listen me correctly. Station 1 will transmit, we can say that the data TT time will be there. That means station 1 will put its data on the link, that time is TT, plus we can say that entire ring latency, isn't it? For this much time, as the token will be held by the this station, isn't it? Okay, now you know this TT plus ring latency is what we calculated in the previous slide. You can see that is PT plus N into B, isn't it? Now I'm assuming that this processing time at every station, that is the delay of every station, that is assumed to be 0. If it is assumed to be 0, then token holding time will be TT plus PT, isn't it? So these informations regarding, we can say that delays of each station. B is what? B bit delay for each station. So I am ignoring this one. If it is given, then consider, otherwise don't consider, isn't it? If it is given that 3-bit delay is for each station, isn't it? This is the station. And we can consider, otherwise there is no need to consider, isn't it? Now you only tell me, so efficiency formula is what? N into TT divided by PT plus N into token holding time, isn't it? Token holding time. So that is N into TT, isn't it? Okay. Divided by PT plus N into token holding time is TT plus PT. We just calculated this one. Now divide this entire term with N into TT, so it becomes 1 upon 1 plus N plus 1 divided by N into A, isn't it? So that is the efficiency, where A is what? Propagation delay upon transmission delay. So that is the efficiency in case of delayed token reinsertion, isn't it? A delayed token reinsertion, why it is a reinsertion? Because after complete one round, next data, we can say that after one complete round, token will be released, and after that next station will hold, and then only next station will reinsert the next, we can say that data unit. That means next data unit will be reinserted after releasing the token by some delay, and that delay we calculate, isn't it? Okay, so that is the efficiency in the delayed token reinsertion. So second strategy is, that is early token reinsertion, isn't it? So here we can say that, let us consider one ring. This one is also important. Okay, now you only tell me here what will happen. Let's say one token ring is there, token frame is there. Let's say that is held by the station 1. So station 1 will transmit its data, listen me correctly. Let's say that is the data 1 for the station 1. So station 1 will hold the token and will transmit the data, and after transmitting the data, immediately station 1 will release the token, isn't it? Okay, now this data unit, we can say that will reach to the station 2. Station 2 will put it into the, yes, this ring. So this station will be this, we can say that data unit 1 will be here only, and we can say that as soon as data 1 was transmitted, token was released. So token will come to the second station. Station 2 will hold the data and will transmit its data packets. Let's say that is 2, isn't it? Okay. As soon as we can say that data 2 is transmitted by the station 2, then token will be released, isn't it? So token will be, we can say that moving, we can say that in the queue like structure. We can say that at first position data 1 is there, at second positions data 2 is there, and we can say that in the back side of 2 there will be a token. So these will move in this manner. So station 3 will see first data unit 1 and data unit 2, and token will come. Token will be held by the station 3, and station 3 will transmit its data and will release the token, and so on. Next one we can say that yes, for station 4 will see first data unit 1, after that data unit 2, after that 3, and then station 4 will hold the token, and we can say that 4 will transmit its data, let's say that is 4, isn't it? And then it will release the token. So in this manner we can say that these will circulate, isn't it? Now this data unit 1 will reach to the station 1, isn't it? That means that data 1 was the data that is sent by the station 1, that we can say that completed its round, isn't it? Now once in this topology what happens, if one round is completed by any data packet, let's say the data packet was transmitted by the station 1. So after one round this data packet will reach to the station 1. Now it is the responsibility of station 1 that the station 1 now will discard this data unit from the ring, isn't it? Why it is so? Now we can say that when data unit 1 will reach to the station 1, that was its own data unit, and that is broadcasted, we can say that over the ring. So we can say that all stations seen that particular data unit. Now data, we can say that this job is done. Now station 1 itself will remove this particular data from the ring. Now similarly, after circulating, when 2's data will reach to the station 2, then station 2 will, we can say that remove this data unit from the ring. So we can say that it is the responsibility of the station to remove that data unit after completing one round, isn't it? Okay. So in this manner we can say that this will continue, isn't it? Okay. Now when token will come to the station 1 again, then station 1 will remove the old data unit from the ring and will hold the token and will transmit its new data, isn't it? So in this manner we can say that this process will continue, isn't it? So here we can say that what is the token holding time. So only for transmission time token is held by any station, isn't it? Token will be held by any station once, and data will be transmitted. That means that data will take TT time, and immediately token will be released, isn't it? Okay. So token will move backward to the, we can say that data unit, isn't it? Okay. Now here efficiency will be what? So efficiency formula is N into TT, isn't it? Divided by PT plus N into token holding time. So if we calculated our token holding time in this case, that is TT only. So substitute TT here. So after dividing this one with N into TT, this becomes 1 upon 1 plus A by capital N. Yes, that is the efficiency. And what is A? A is propagation time upon transmission time. So you can see here efficiency is more than delayed token reinsertion. Obvious, because in delayed token reinsertion, at a time one data unit is in the ring, but here you can see at a time various data units are moving in the ring, but you can see here there is no collision, isn't it? In delayed, one data token is held by any station, and data will be transmitted. After one complete round, that will be removed. Then next station will be acquiring the token and will transmit its data in it, and so on. So in a delay token also there is no collision. Here also you can see all the frames are moving side by side, isn't it? There is no collision at all, isn't it? So yes, so this strategy we can say that that is access control method. In the last one CSMA CD we seen, yes, various possibilities of collisions were there. So to overcome that disadvantage, this token ring is used, isn't it? Okay. Now, second question is, yes, if we see, if we compare the efficiency of early and delayed, so you can see efficiency of early token reinsertion is more, isn't it? That is the advantage. But what is the disadvantage? Reliability. So here, delayed token reinsertion is more reliable than early token reinsertion. Why? Because if everything, we can say that if anything happens inside the ring, then in delay token only one packet will be lost. But if in early token reinsertion, you can see various more than one packets are there in the ring, isn't it, which are moving. So if anything happens to the ring, then all those packets will be, we can say that, lost, isn't it? So if in terms of reliability, yes, delayed token reinsertion is best, but in terms of efficiency, early token reinsertion is best. I hope this concept is clear to everyone. So you need to remember these formulas of efficiency, what is ring latency and all, isn't it? Here, capital N represents what number of stations in this particular ring, isn't it? Oh, I hope that is that's all about, we can say that, token passing. In the next lecture, we'll see some more access control method. Okay, guys, thank you so much.